Thank you. Thank you very much. Delighted to be here. Thank you, Joe. So we thought we would spend 10, 15 minutes introducing the idea of maximizing your sales globally. It was very interesting hearing the last speaker talk about some of the challenges. I think we'd like to focus on the opportunities that the changing world presents today, and in particular, how you can sell in a very localized fashion to consumers around the world. I'll come and talk about some of the statistics, but we see amongst strong D2C brands around a third to 40% of their site traffic coming from outside of their domestic market. So US brands, nearly 40% of their traffic now comes from outside of the US. So the opportunity to capitalize on that, to be able to provide not only shipping to them, but a truly localized brand first experience is high. At Flow, we are a pure software business. We sit on top of e-com platforms, and we try to enable brands to offer that localized shopping experience, from demand generation, finding the consumer, to making sure the site experience is localized, to checkout, shipping, and customer service, so that it's a very easy turnkey way for a brand to say, we need to either go global and capitalize on that site traffic, or if we're already doing that, do it in a better way to improve our conversion rates. So very briefly, Flow offers a modular solution which has 5 aspects to that, and contained within it is everything you could want as a brand to make sure that you're properly localized and global. The first is product localization. So when a consumer hits your site, they're seeing all of your pricing in their local currency. And more than that, the prices are cleanly rounded, so they'll convert well. And more than that, the prices display with duties and tax displayed, so that a consumer would never have the same poor shopping experience that I've had many times, where I place an order and then a shipper's on my doorstep X number of weeks later, asking for funds for duties and taxes that I wasn't aware of, and more than that, charging additional fees for that right for that service. So a good customer experience obviously involves making those prices and fees transparent from the outset, and making sure that the consumer can pay on the site instead of on the doorstep or by phone calls to a customs agent. The third aspect is shipping, making sure that your shipping is fast and cheap around the world. We have many options there where we integrate into different shippers. We invite brands to use their own shipping rates or ours or combination of the two. We just want them to be able to offer a great shipping experience so consumers can get their goods quickly and cheaply around the world. Checkout, it's super important that the right payment methods are available in each country. So we offer that as a service, around 70 to 80 different payment methods, 5 to 10, depending on where the country of origin is of the consumer. So if they're in China, they'll pay with Alipay and WeChat Pay and Union Pay, and other countries, different payment methods, and ensuring that we can provide a translated checkout so that consumers don't get caught at that final step in the process. And more than that, at Flow, we are a service that tries to work with our brands very closely to make sure that their site experience is perfectly optimized for consumers in the key countries. So things like A/B testable. Should we round to .99 or .00? Should we offer Afterpay in Australia or Klarna? Should we offer free shipping or subsidized duties on behalf of the consumer? And the answer varies by category and by country, but we have the tools to either self-build optimization for international customer experience or to have a client success manager do that. So in short, all of this adds up to helping brands sell in an efficient way for growth internationally in a super simple integration. The story continues around why go global, what are the challenges, and how do you do it? So why go global? You will find, if you look at your site experience and you analyze your traffic, that I guarantee you've got a high portion of your site traffic coming from outside of your domestic market. Usually it will be double digits, and on average, it's around 34 to 40%, depending on the country. And it's all of these reasons. That's why consumers shop internationally. It's easy to do with the global nature of search. the celebrities they're following, often recommending or using brands, the mission that a brand is on resonates with the consumer, the social media following references a brand, and more than that, it's easy to reach. They may have heard about a brand or seen it through some channels and want to purchase it directly from the brand. And the days when consumers were uncomfortable purchasing cross-border are in the past. On the right-hand side, you can see the chart. Around 2/3 of consumers in this survey were or had already purchased cross-border. And this reflects what we're seeing today. 40% of the site traffic, this is in the US, coming from outside of the US. And interestingly, international traffic, cross-border traffic, has outstripped domestic traffic growth for e-commerce during COVID. So if you compare site traffic, the last 2 quarters as compared to 2019, e-com traffic is up naturally, as you'd expect, given the closure of bricks and mortar, but international cross-border traffic has outstripped even domestic. So if you're not already selling internationally, it's an enormous opportunity to be capitalizing on as soon as possible. What are the challenges? It's very easy to simply integrate a shipper and be selling cross-border, but more often than not, what happens then is it's enabled, but you won't get a high lift in sales, and your conversion rate ends up being very poor. And the reason is all of these examples that you see from the survey, shipping still being expensive, taking a long time to deliver, duty and taxes often not being shown. So if you're selling internationally, but you're not displaying what the duties and taxes are, it's an enormous depressor of conversion rates because consumers know they'll have to pay an unknown amount then on the doorstep, plus fees. And an even bigger depressor of repeat purchase rates. That's an awful shopping experience. The chance of you repeat purchasing from that brand is low. The exchange rate question begs questions that puts consumers off. Questions around duties and taxes and, around compliance, data privacy, language puts consumers off, as does questions around payments. So all of these add up to death by 1,000 cuts and depress conversion rates enormously, which is why at Flow we try to solve all of this in a turnkey way so that our clients, who are typically fast-growing brands and big global brands, can easily offer a clean, perfect customer experience that's as well thought through internationally as it is already for their domestic experience. How do you do it? It's those 5 things that we mentioned, making sure that your prices are always local currency in every currency in the world, not just half a dozen, making sure that if you're doing lead generation, that your feeds are localized. Otherwise, Google and Facebook will cut you off because there'll be a mismatch between ads and landing pages. Making sure you're targeting your catalog to the countries so the right products are offered in the right way, in the right currencies. Always ensuring that duties and taxes are displayed and accurate. Otherwise, you'll not only have unhappy customers, you'll have a lot of inbound calls to your customer experience center, payment methods and shipping, and making sure that these are all set correctly in each country and that you keep testing to find the right one to maximize conversion rates. We do all of this in the Flow platform. We'd happily talk to you about how we can help you, and our client success directors lean in to try to make sure that we can marry what we can do with your brand identity to perfect it around the world. Flow is a tech solution, it's SaaS. It's very quick to integrate, and then after the integration, there's no need to involve any developers. It sits on top of your ecom platform, whatever that is, or if it's proprietary, the API endpoints integrate directly into that. And after one integration, you can toggle on and off any one of 200 different markets and see the immediate impact on your sales conversion rates. And in the interest of time, I know we only have 1 or 2 more minutes. Wanted to quickly share the results to make the point that this isn't just about making sure that your customer experience is great and reflects your domestic one, but that translates into actual savings and lift. So I'll flick through a few very quickly. Universal Standard, fantastic brand. They were talking about their Flow experience recently on a webinar. They've seen a double in their international sales. They've seen an enormous lift in traffic to their site, and they've seen savings in logistics. MC Wallace, very similarly, the lift varies a lot by how long the client has been on Flow. They've obviously get an immediate bump, but as they do more tests, they continue to get lift. And many times we can not only help them on the sales growth side, but also on savings because we can consolidate shipping rates. Out and Own, another brilliant brand, Kelly Slater's apparel brand, over 100% lift in sales. Travis, their COO, was talking about how much beyond that they are already, and they've seen enormous improvements in their conversion rates where their focus was. So really, whatever if you're interested, please do reach out. Whatever your objective is, whether that's improving the customer experience, sales growth, margin protection, compliance management, we would be delighted to lean in and see how we can be helpful. With that, I am going to stop sharing and thank you for listening to the presentation. Please do reach out to us through the site or me personally at rob@flow.io.
Rob, thank you so much. That was a really great presentation. We have time for a quick question, if you don't mind. One of the audience members would like to know, for brands that are selling cross-border for the first time or internationally for the first time, would you recommend starting with one or two key markets and going from there, or is it worth it to try and get multiple new markets set up at once?
Yeah, it's a great question, Danny. We have clients who take both approaches, some who cut over the world immediately, others who take a more deliberate approach. My perspective is the best approach is you do cut over to the world. You enable all 200 countries to have a localized shopping experience, because why not? It doesn't cost anything extra. It's all available. You could toggle them on and off, but then to focus your energy on the top 10 markets, see what works well, lean into the client success team who can tell you what's worked well in the past, what best practice looks like. We'd run a few A/B tests and configure the bigger markets where there's probably an 80-20 rule to be finely tuned for maximizing sales.
Got it. All right, cool. Well, Rob, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for answering our questions and giving that great presentation. Good to have you.
Thank you.